It would eventually just start piling on top of each other, right?
So wait, we could totally just name ourselves like Metallica.
Yeah,
Right. Get the notoriety of that. Like we could totally get away with it. Be like, dude, we're running out of band names. We gotta double up. Sorry, guys.
We're Metallica. That's all. There's two of us.
I'm sure there's a law somewhere that says we can't do that.
Metallica with 3 L's.
There you go. Now you're onto something.
Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Level Up Cleveland. This week we have the guys from Four Absent Friends. What's up, guys?
How you doing?
What's going on?
Thanks for coming down.
Yeah, no problem.
This is one of them situations where this is a 6-piece band, and I can only accommodate 3 at a time. So the first 3 guys are here. The other 3 guys are waiting outside. We'll switch them out at the break. But I want to introduce these 3 guys first. I want to introduce the other 3 guys when they come in here. So from left to right, on the dirty vocals, we have Andrew Holt.
Hello, how are you guys?
And on bass guitar, TJ Bear.
Howdy, howdy.
And on drums, we got Brendan.
What's going on?
What's up, guys?
Not much. Beautiful snowy day.
Nice snow. Yeah, you guys made it here, though. No
yeah.
problems.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it slid a little bit on the way in, but
Where are you guys driving from? Where are you guys coming from?
Right down the road, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I'm from Brook Park, so right down the road.
Where are you from?
Berea.
Oh, I lived in Berea 10 years. Where you coming from?
I got to drive a little farther. I'm over in Brunswick. So.
Oh, I'm in Medina now. Yeah, that's good. I just came from Medina. So you guys are all over the place.
Oh yeah, A little bit.
Yeah,
We're
we
in
try
the
to.
area though. It's like a big.
Well, no, I mean it's not. But I mean it's not like you guys all grew up together or you're from the high school type thing.
Half
Well,
of us.
yeah.
Half of us, yeah.
Oh, so is that how it started?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of. Me and Andrew and Jacob all went to high school together. We didn't really form a band until after high school. We all knew each other. We all played instruments together with like the guitar club and everything, like, hanging out all the time. But then him and Jacob hit me up one day before we even knew. These other guys are like, "Hey, you wanna like join the band?" I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't done music in a while. We'll see where it goes." We kept playing for a while, and then we met these guys, and now we're a big super band.
How'd you meet them?
Just,
Facebook. It's a
Facebook,
wonderful
yeah.
thing.
One of
Oh,
those,
really?
like,
So you guys were just networked into
Yeah.
this situation?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
oh yeah. There's
Yeah.
this like Cleveland musician group, and at a point in time, they needed like another lead guitarist and a drummer, and I was paired up with a lead guitarist and another vocalist. So we just kind of decided, it's like, all right, well, let's try this, see what happens. And literally from day one, it's just kind of like, wow, all right, this worked out a lot better than anticipated. Oh, yeah. Let's keep this going. Let's see what happens.
Well, yeah, and Brendan, like you're the drummer in this band, and I just wanted, like, when we have other metal bands on here and stuff, and the thing about metal drumming is it's a completely different animal than other drumming can be, and there's not a lot of guys that do it well. So I mean, I'm being serious about that. There's just not, you know what I mean? Yeah. And Ray Condi, we had Ray on here. I don't know if you guys know who Ray is, but Ray's in Sarcophagus. There's a bunch of bands that he's in and stuff. Okay. And he's he's the drummer, and he does vocals and stuff like that. But one thing he was saying, he's like, there's only like 6 of us, like locally in the area, and he's like, and that's it, and that's why he's in 5 bands, and that's why because am I on to this? I mean, is this something because it's hard? You got double basses, you got blast beats, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's things that you got to be able to do for this kind of stuff.
Right.
It's not easy.
Kind of, yeah. There's like you said, there's a lot to it because there's a lot of like technique, drill, practicing, however you'd want to put it. You got to do a lot of that if you want to be able to stay up to where you're at.
Yeah, it's stamina too. I mean, like that's a whole nother thing, right? Like you got to be able to like play an hour, 2 hours of this stuff, and
that's why even when I'm practicing, just warming up, or like I'll basically do like practice covers, play over songs. Like there's a lot of like Carnifex or sometimes even like Infant Annihilator, like just crazy stuff.
Just to get your speed up and everything, like blood flowing and everything.
Yeah, to get the blood flowing so that when we're playing our set, it's like it's good, it's fun, it's not something I'm struggling with.
But yeah, like it's just a lot of
because in a band like your guys' band, you're such an important part of the band.
Oh, the most important.
Right, and I mean seriously, in a metal band like this, it's like your job is so important because if you don't do it right, the whole thing suffers. You know, like seriously, I mean, like you can mess up a note on bass, and not everybody even knows you did it. He messes up a beat, the song gets thrown off, and it's hard to do that metal thing. I just wanted to bring that point up because I just always think metal drummers are just like another level of everything. Right? They're just
different breed.
Yeah, I don't even know how they do what they do. I just really don't. So I just wanted to just give you some kudos because I think that it's a very important part of the band. And from what I've heard of what you guys do, you're solid as hell. I mean, like you're right there. No, seriously. I mean, like
we
do
got
the
really
job.
lucky with this guy.
We say he's the most talented for sure.
He's
the most talented.
Everybody's got one musician. That's,
yeah, one actual musician. The rest of them are hacks. That's us 5. Yeah.
In all fairness, I got lucky because my dad's been a drummer since like he was barely 20.
Who's your dad?
Sean Brunez. He great bowler, great drummer, and.
Did you say he's a great bowler?
Yeah, he goes and bowls a lot too.
I mean, that's just out of nowhere. I just thought that was
nice. My dad some credit.
Nice random information about Pops. Yeah, I like it.
He'll school your ass. He'll get a 300.
No joke. He will. That's the thing. He goes to Reno almost yearly because he does the competitions for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No kidding. And he plays music?
He does sometimes, yeah.
So, do you come from a family of musicians, or is it just
mostly him?
Okay.
I know my mom a little bit, but not as much. But
all right, enough about you, Brendan. No, I just wanted to mention. I heard the drums on there. I was pretty impressed.
Thank you.
All right, so let me talk to you guys now.
Yeah, these guys.
The dirty vocals.
Yeah.
I like how you guys call it the dirty vocals. Is that just to make it so everyone understands dirty vocals versus clean vocals?
Specifically, yes. I didn't know how else to put it so people understood like I'm the guy up there, screaming and like angry in the mic. It was kind of hard to differentiate, so I decided dirty. So I'm always curious about the guttural guy. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into this that I think that people don't get. So there's a level of talent that goes into being able to do this kind of thing, just like singing. Most certainly. But it's a completely different thing. Oh, right? Yeah. But there's major technique that goes into this, or you'll blow your voice right out. And there's just like, at some point, what I always find fascinating is like, at some point you realize you can do this. I find that fascinating. And then the other thing is like, when you go into this thing, it's not, the one thing it's not like singing is you kind of got to pick what you're going to do. Like, it's not, you can do anything. You could go from to like there's so many things. And I'm always curious, how do you pick that? Like, how do you decide? Because it changes the whole dynamic of the band. Right. Honestly, writing lyrics, when it comes down to words specifically, writing lyrics is a team effort on me and Jay, our other vocalist. But when it comes down to like screaming, as where you're mentioning, where it's like pitch specific, it can really change the whole range or dynamic of a song. I believe you're incredibly right there. And as far as how I choose and which way I want to go, it's absolutely random. So you don't even know what you do. It's just feel. It's all what's catchy or what's pleasing, what's helping me hit the emotion I'm trying to write about here. Anything along those lines. It's kind of like only if it makes it better scenario. Other than that, everything for me is kind of like at a mid-level. I try to keep it at like an intermediate, so that way if we add something later down the line in the song, I can go, oh, well, if I switch this note to a high, it'll help the note you're playing on guitar, the note you're playing on bass, whatever. So yeah, picking and choosing the sounds. Yeah, it's just whatever complete feels random natural. On my end. Yeah. And how do you guys decide? Like the fact that you have the dual front guy, the vocal thing. I hear a lot of bands do a lot of different things with this. And you can play off each other, like where you almost play two different characters in the band, where one guy's like rah guy, and the other guy's like, well, and then rah, and they can play off each other, or they just kind of like tell a story. Right. What's the approach you guys take? I'd say for the first EP we put out, hint hint wink wink, it's definitely was an approach of, okay, well, what can we do together? What could what are we possible of? This is our trial run. So in that one, you don't really hear too much of the back and forth storytelling aspect like you're talking about here, but we are playing with that side of it as well and seeing what we can do over there as well. Because
we don't want it to seem like between me and him we're fighting over the spot, you know, who's driving this song, who's driving that song. We're trying to make it
complementary.
Right. Either you know, like a 50-50 this song, or a 25-75 this song, next song 25-75. Or
are you actually doing that though? Are you guys actually gauging who's doing more of this song, and then or does it just come out the way it comes out?
Well, yeah, it's gauged, but if it sounds better, you know, we're gonna be like, okay, well, gauge out the window, whatever. It sounds better. We like the way it sounds.
This is more heavier, this vocal, because it just lends itself to that.
Right. I'd say the writing all around is all of us. You know, down to what, like you said, what pitch I make. Everything comes down to everybody at the end of the day, and we don't really leave out of a single vote on the final say of the sound.
No shit. So, who brings the first ideas usually?
Jacob usually brings first ideas.
Yeah,
and then they write around that.
For the most part, yeah. We've strayed from the path a little bit, just to, you know, explore other writing routes, to try and really hone our craft or figure out what we're really good at. But yeah, for the most part, everything comes from Jacob.
So Jacob's bringing our riffs, or is he bringing like ideas completely finished, or how is he doing?
It normally starts with a riff. Like, we'll be sitting in the room, he'll be playing something, and then it's like, oh, yo, I like that. Let's work with that, and then we'll build around that, and then we either have a song or we're like, we'll scrap this. Like, maybe try some, like, we like a bit of this, bit of that, morph it into a song that we all enjoy and we like the way it grooves, and it's like, yeah, this has a vibe.
Well, what's like, Jacob? I'm gonna have him in here. I'm gonna ask him, but like, what do you guys feel like is his influence when he's writing and stuff? Like, as far as like, does he have something that he like brings, and you guys, it's like it lends itself to something, and then you guys create it, make it into 4 Apps and Friends? But does he have a
yeah, he's definitely got like his own sound. If you're talking about that,
like if you say he sounds like somebody, like
he's got a lot of thrash influence, like
really?
Metallica, Pantera, Slayer, all
Big
that
Four
stuff.
type thing.
Yes.
He's big into that. He loves it, and you know, we all do because it's where it starts
metal.
from. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's where we all came from.
We still gotta have that older metalcore tint to it as well.
Yeah, you guys label yourselves as a metalcore band, basically.
Yes, we did label ourselves.
Yeah.
We want to have that view of the older as we're making the newer version of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I see what you're saying. So like you have a comparable almost, like you say, this is what it used to be, but we're taking it here.
Yeah,
sure.
Bringing it into the modern age, like, you know, like most metalcore nowadays is like more djenty or like symphonic stuff.
Yeah,
we really like the old school metal, the old 2000s metalcore, like the old Bolt for My Valentine.
Kind of strip some of the stuff out of it that's kept piling on.
Yeah.
You guys are like,
we're bringing it back to the roots a little bit more.
Right. No disrespect to the people that are doing it. Obviously, I enjoy plenty of music, and all music has that stuff in it nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, we're trying to bring it back to basics. What can you do on instruments? You know, what can you do live? What can you know? We're trying to focus on actual musical abilities. Not saying MIDI isn't musical ability at all, because it is. I can't write anything MIDI. God,
you don't have to keep apologizing, dude. Come on, man. Seriously, dude. I mean, like, you guys do what you do, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Who cares? I mean, if everybody did the same thing, it would suck.
I agree.
But I mean, like, you guys are definitely. What I heard though, I definitely heard some of the old stuff in that. You know, like it felt.
You could hear the influence.
It felt good to me because that's what I am used to, and metal is more of an old school type metal. So it felt good to me. But I did also notice like the modern flair and the two vocal thing automatically kind of puts you into that, because that's you know, the last 10 years, 20 years, 15 years where that even started taking place. In the 80s and 90s, it was one vocal.
Right.
Yeah, it was also like one guitarist most of the time, too.
A lot of times it was 4 people. It was the power trio with the front guy or whatever. Yeah, it's just not like that. And I think naturally the progression just took place. Eventually, what do? Well, let's add a keyboard. Oh, let's add symphony. Let's add this. You just naturally, I think that's what happened. And then once it reached that point where it was saturated to the point where you couldn't do anymore, bands like you're going to come in now and just say, you know what, let's take this out. Let's get back to some of the roots and go from there. And I think that's what you guys are kind of about, right?
For sure. Most definitely.
Now, when do you guys start? How far back do we go?
With this band specifically, 4 Apps and Friends?
Well, no, because you guys said there was another band, so let's start there.
Okay, I guess first starts in a basement in Berea. Me and Jacob and TJ, like we said earlier, all went to school together.
Where'd you go to school?
Berea Mid Park.
Okay.
Graduated class of 17. But a friend of ours was like, hey, we're getting a little jam band together in my basement. You want to come over? You know, me, Jacob, we're in guitar class. We're like, sure, whatever. We went there. I am terrible at guitar. I'm going to sit here and say I play guitar. I don't. But we went there, and, you know, they were all jamming just a little stuff. And I was like, well, I'm not good at guitar, but I guess I can, you know, like, kind of scream. I was still learning in high school how to do it all. Had a couple of years of practice, not many. So I told them, well, I can do vocals, you know. So I guess technically that was our first band. I didn't last long there. They were going in a weird style that I wasn't really trying to go for. So he stayed around with I believe the name of them was Oversoul. I believe that was the name of the band. And then from there, me, Jacob, TJ, and 2 other guys made another band called Uncertainty at first was our first name. Something like that. That lasted 1 show. We played at the Foundry. And then from there, it was about a 2.5 year gap until
hiatus, huh?
Yeah, until we met Brendan and Jay, and there was another guy with them as well, who's not part of our band anymore. But yeah, that's about like our whole history as far as being musicians.
How long ago did all 6 of you kind of get together?
Last year.
Yeah, last year.
So it's only been about a year.
Like August last year. Yeah.
December,
like
was it 2nd? Last year was our
first
first show
show
as a
Yep.
band.
So how you guys feel about this?
Piece.
Amazing. We've
Oh,
played
yeah.
so many shows this year for our first year, you know.
We played
Yeah,
10
man.
of
I saw
them.
that. I saw that you guys did. You guys have a lot of shows out there. You guys are playing with a lot of other good bands and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sometimes you guys are headlining too. I see that. Every once in a while, it looks like you guys are headlining over like 2 or 3 other bands. Sometimes.
We're starting to dabble in headlining.
Yeah,
We're
man. I was like,
getting there.
wow,
Getting
you guys are freaking moving up pretty quickly.
We're trying,
It
yeah.
has been really fast paced.
Yeah.
This year has flown by a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely caught us off guard. I'm just happy we didn't crumble first year. You know, you see a
for
lot
sure.
of people when they're put under pressure with be here, do this, do that. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I got my job, I got, you know, my family life, and it's great that we were able to keep it together even with all the other shit going on, you know, that we have in our lives.
Everyone here involved is super dedicated.
Yes.
Yeah,
They have
and-
passion for it. And
And
it's
it, and
so
it,
nice.
is this like kind of early success, kind of like fueling that even more and more and more?
Oh yeah,
where
because
you
we
guys
just
are
want to
like-
keep riding it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, are you guys the type of band where you don't really like kind of like you guys put something out and everyone's like, oh, it's really great, and you don't sit there and absorb all that. You guys are already looking into like
What we can do next.
Next.
Yeah,
Yep.
next
What's
song.
next?
Yep.
next song. We're moving
Yeah.
along.
Like-
Would that be accurate?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When
Oh
we
yeah.
put-
We only have the one EP out and the single, but we already have another one in the works.
Another
trying to-
single or another EP?
Yes.
Both.
So is that what you guys are? I mean, like, you know, let's just be honest. In today's market, singles are, you know, a lot of bands just want to put out that one song, promote the shit out of it, put a video out, whatever.
Yep.
Next song. And trust me, it makes sense. I understand why you would want to go that route. But old school, it's albums and
It's
EPs,
out-
right?
yeah,
You want
exactly.
a collection
That's-
of work, right?
That's
Right.
the route we're going for. You see, like, a couple bands in the recent years, like of Mice and Men, they released 3 EPs in 1 year, and
Yeah,
then they
right.
combine it all in one album at the end. Like,
Is that what you guys are thinking about? Something along those lines, maybe?
We're kind of caught still between what we want to do because we do have that old school where we want those LPs. We want to build that
Yeah, that
collection.
takes time.
This
Yeah,
is
it
our
does.
discography, and look at how great it is.
this
you know,
is the evolution of Four Absent Friends, right?
It does take time to do that, though.
right? But
Yeah,
you're
A
right.
lot
In
of
the
time and a lot of money.
You're
Yeah,
right.
it
In
does.
in the modern market, it is definitely hard to stay more relevant throughout time.
Yeah, people
than-
get tired. People are good. They have no attention in these spans, and if you're not doing anything over 6 months or 8 months or whatever,
You fall off of it.
that's
Yep.
it. They forget about you, right? And
Yep.
so
Yeah.
that's why that single thing becomes. Plus, you could spend more time focusing on that one piece of work. You know, you put out a song. The problem with that philosophy is if the song sucks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know
And
what
you
I mean?
never know until you release it.
and really, it's true, dude, because everybody thinks their song is great.
Oh,
like,
of
whenever
course.
you come up with an idea, you're like, man, that's the greatest idea ever. And someone else you show, and they're like, You know,
Yeah.
it's good to have when you're in a band because it keeps your ideas kind of like from getting out of control when they're not good. Because not every idea is a good one, right?
Right.
So after he comes in with the idea, do you guys take the idea and the whole band writes around that idea, or is this are
Yeah,
there
more or
key
less.
guys, and do you guys write your own lyrics?
Yes, we do.
So each guy writes his own lyrics. Now, do you guys get
it's-
together and kinda like,
Sometimes we all have like lyrics. Like sometimes
Oh.
we'll come with a complete song already. Like sometimes it is like that. Other times it is just a riff. Like I've written lyrics for some things. They'll use pieces of it. Like, oh yeah, we like these lines.
You ever pull a Neil Peart and write some lyrics for these guys? And
I haven't done that yet.
not yet.
Actually, there's a new song we wrote that he's got a couple lines in that he wrote himself. That I
forgot
just
you wrote these lines or something.
I just kind of worked around them.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
We try to not shut out any type of creativity in our band, obviously, because you never know, that could be the thing that puts you in the next level.
Oh, yeah, you got to realize that you don't know everything, and then
Yes.
from there, then you can accept other people's ideas, right?
Yes.
So when you guys come up with ideas for writing, how does that come about? Because you both have to write on one topic. So how do you agree on like the topic to write about, and then from there, how do you go about that?
Well, we rough draft songs, and then we just kind of vault them for a little bit.
Oh, so you guys pull them out and say this will go with this?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes we'll hear something new and be like, oh, well, we can write a song about this. This kind of fits, the emotional sound of the song. Or like there's some times where, he'll write lyrics for one of my parts in a song just because it sounds better that way, or it fits the narrative better that way, if it's lyrics better that way, whatever it may be. But between me and him, yeah, most of the time it's either we storyboard. We'll take a dry erase board, figure out what kind of actual narrative we're telling, and then figure out how the best way to tell it through the verses, bridges, choruses, whatever it may be.
Well planned. It's just planned all out and everything.
Yes, mostly well planned. I try to actually be on top of everything. I was kind of that person. I don't know.
That's sweet.
It sucks sometimes, though, to be honest.
Well, I mean, no, but you got to have somebody that's doing that in the band. I mean, you got to have organization. You got to have all that stuff, especially with 6 guys if you're all contributing. That's hard to manage sometimes. It's hard to manage all that, and I think all those ideas. And,
yeah. Like go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say with ours isn't as bad just because like a good couple of months ago we kind of designated each other specific positions as far as managing for us, so we're not dumping everything.
Delegated jobs to each guy, kind of. So
we're not dumping everything on Andrew, or we're not dumping everything on Jay as far as the frontman to just do literally everything.
That's sweet.
It's a team effort.
Yeah,
we are all involved. Yeah.
Now you guys are all fans, also, right? So of metal music, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a fan of all music. Disco is like number 2 for me. Number 1 is like metal.
What happened? How did disco all of a sudden just catapult its way right to the?
It died and now it's back.
It's
amazing.
back again. Yeah,
It is.
Amazing.
It's the bass lines and like the funk music and everything, and like,
it's
people are just now reasoning like, oh wow, why did we stop listening or making music?
There
like
is some
that?
cool stuff. The Foo
Like-
Fighters came out with their Dead Whole Disco album and all that stuff happened.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm asking is, guys, so you guys have moshed, right? You guys have been in the pits, right? You guys have done all that.
Yeah.
You guys have been through there.
we go on the shows of our own. Honestly.
Okay, I'm
we're
going to
in the
get to that.
pits.
So now you guys are up on stage looking down on this stuff, right?
Yep.
What are you thinking up there? I mean, like this is like a whole. I mean, this changes the game, right? When you're up there, this is what makes this thing like, oh, this is exciting. The blood's pumping, and you get to see the motion that you're creating, like you're creating.
That's what it's all
that
about.
Right.
We actually the vocalist and Jacob, they use wireless systems and they get into the crowd.
So they
jump
actually
off
go
the
down
stage.
into it.
Oh yeah, they get in it.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch Jacob running around. Yeah, like you said, he'll be in the pit as he's playing his riffs and doing stuff like that.
And not miss a note.
And not worry about nobody like doing the Kirk Hammett thing when they pull the guitar into the crowd.
No, we've actually had some really awesome people at the shows where it like you don't really see the hardcore punching kicking in the pits. You don't see people trying to take other people's stuff.
You haven't seen that? Have you seen it at all? Have you guys seen any crazy shit going on in the
At our last show, someone got kicked out for throwing too many bows. But
that one wasn't good.
What was it? Second show we had an ambulance show up? Second show?
Okay, that wasn't.
That one wasn't.
It wasn't
our fault.
mosh
That wasn't
related
us.
either. Yeah.
No,
It still happened though, right?
It was there.
It was a separate incident. It wasn't.
Person is okay. Person is okay.
He's all good.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. We're gonna take a break.
All right.
All right.
We're gonna bring in the other 3 guys. Thanks for coming on, man. This was
no problem.
sweet, man.
Thanks
you
for
guys are
having
cool.
us.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys. When we come back, we'll have the other 3 guys on from Four Absent Friends. When we come back.
Hello, Cleveland. I am ZM Delgado, author of the Rust Belt Rock Review at ZachoLantern.com, and this is your weekend concert calendar update. First on the agenda, Friday, February 10th, at No Class, it's Close Down with special guests Key to the Mint, Low Spot, and Youth Palette. Second on the weekend agenda, Saturday, February 11th at No Class, it's Body Farm with Unity, Church and State, and Sperm. So there you have it, Cleveland. 2 shows, 1 weekend. I hope I get to see you out at the clubs. Until next time, rock on, Rust Belt.
And we are back, everybody, with the guys here from Four Apps and Friends, and we have 3 new friends with us. So we're going to switch them out, and we did. So let me go ahead and go through the guys, let everybody know who's here. First, we have Jay Weinmiller, and he is the clean vocalist. Since we already met the dirty vocalist. And this has nothing to do with your personality or nothing. This is just the way you guys sing, right?
Correct.
Right, okay.
Nah, he's pretty dirty.
Next to him, we have Jacob Brown. We just heard about Jacob. Jacob is one of the main songwriters in the band. He brings a lot of the ideas, they say, to the band and stuff like that. And next to him, we have the other guitar player.
I'm Dunn.
That's Dunn.
It's me.
And
You're Dunn.
Dunn's more of you like the lead guy too. You play a lot of the lead guitar.
Yeah.
So this is other than the fact that you have 2 lead singers, which is more today common than it used to be, but it's a very common type set up. The rhythm guitar player writes a lot of the music. Then you have the lead guy who comes in and fucking he does the lead parts of the guitars, and everybody has their role. It just feels very normal, right? I mean, that's a lot of bands were created this way, right?
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's not even like that we necessarily have like a rhythm and lead section. It's kind of a guitar 1, guitar 2. Like we trade off sometimes.
Oh,
or,
okay.
Like, I'll write some of those parts. He'll finish them, or write something and I'll finish it. Like for one of our songs, like I play the solo now, so it's a guitar 1, guitar 2 type of deal.
So the guys tell me that you're kind of influenced by like the Big Four type thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of your riffs are coming out of that kind of. Would you say like?
A lot of the early stuff, like if you look at the first song off of our EP, Inferno, that's definitely a lot more thrash influenced. Same thing with You Throw Me the Idol. That one too has a little bit more of a thrash influence to it. It's just that constant, go get 'em idea. But then like if you look at songs like Barrel, like there's another influence, like All Time Low. That's like one of my weirdest influences, pop punk, for any of the poppier kind of stuff that I'll write for us.
How often do you think you go that route where you get like these pop punk type ideas?
There's a good few, especially like in the works for the new stuff. We got about like 2 or 3 in there.
So how does that happen? I mean, like so you're writing stuff. Is it just because you're just influenced? You listen to a lot of different music all the time.
Yeah.
Some days all of a sudden this idea pops into your head versus another one because of possibly what you listen to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just something like that.
It's just whatever comes out of me.
Are you always writing?
I try to be like more, constant with everything, like to be constantly productive, because you get an idea one minute, even if it's just one small section, you can't figure anything else out of it. Have it. Save it for later. One day you might be like, I need a part. I got that part that I just came up with. I try to have at least like 1 or 2 things a day.
So, and when you're writing, do you allow sections for each person to do? Like you're like, because you have 2 vocals, so it's like, I wonder, do you guys find your spots, or do you create the spots for the vocals?
It's more of a group effort. So Jacob will come up with something. He'll come up with a section of a song, and I can't play guitar worth a shit. I don't know anything about it, but I have on my phone, I have GarageBand, so I can hear strings that sound good and that I would like. I throw him the idea, and I'm like, hey, we should try to fit this in here. He then works with it, tweaks it however it needs to be tweaked to make it sound better, and it ends up creating these sections that are designated for me or for Andrew and things like that. So it's not something that's necessarily sought out when we're putting the song together. It's just that's how it ends up playing out.
As these things flesh out, ideas are created throughout the process because of just how things are moving along.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you guys just add to it accordingly.
Yeah, we never have a preemptive set out idea. It's just more like, hey, this sounds cool, let's work with this, and then it just starts going from there. We never are like, hey, I got an idea for a song specifically, we should write it like this and write it like this. That almost never happens. We have one song that we're working on right now that's what that idea came from. And that's what Andrew was talking about, the storyboard. When we have these ideas for songs, we have the storyboard. We've done that a handful of times. But for the most part, it's just, hey, this sounds cool. Play something else with this and something else with this. And then the vocals come in at the end, once we're like, all right, we have this all pieced together now me and Andrew sit in a room while these guys are over there playing and warming up, practicing, whatever the case is, and me and Andrew are off in a different room trying to figure out how we want these lyrics to go, what story we wanted to tell. So it's, I want to say the story comes last, more or less, because it's just that's how it plays out.
I know I can get that. I totally would understand it. And you know, one thing about the two singer bands too that I also notice is like, not just any two people can do this. Like you have to like complement each other in some ways too. And like, I think in the writing process, this is going to also play out also because like you have to end your line at some point. And he's got to start a line. Those gotta mesh. That stuff's got to go together. It can't just be. You can't just wing this thing and just hope that it all sounds good at the end. So there's thought that goes into all that, and you have a lot of trial and error. I would imagine goes into this too, where you're trying things out and being like, no, back to the drawing board again. Is that what
Yeah, there's a lot of times where we're writing things and it sounds like a really great idea, and then we listen to the song, we're looking at the lyrics, we're reading, we're acting it out and everything, and like me and Andrew would look at each other like, man, this sounds really simplistic. Like it doesn't. There's no feeling behind this or whatever, and we end up scrapping it and then restarting and rewriting the whole thing, because we work together a lot, and like whenever lyrics come into place, Andrew will write stuff at home, I'll write stuff at home, but at the end of the day, we get together and then we start changing things and we make sure that we're working together. Like there's never a situation where it's just me or it's just him. Like everything is. We have to make sure it works together, and we have to make sure that we're both on the same page. And neither one of us, like, we're very like-minded, so neither one of us, like, get into arguments about it. We're like, hey, I don't like this. And the other person's like, all right, we'll change it.
Yeah, right. And it's probably, I think a lot of that comes down to trust, too. I mean, like, you've learned to trust each other. Yeah. So if someone comes up with an idea, you're not always ready to just squash his idea and be like, no, my idea is better. Right. You've already seen his ideas play out, and so you trust. Now you guys have tried, which is another thing about when you have a main writer in a band. It's the same type of thing. I mean, like, you can only become that if everyone else says, yeah, you're that guy, right? I mean, let's just be honest, because
it's just kind of how it happened.
Well, yeah, but they have to. Everyone has to feel that's right. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work if everyone thought. If you had one guy in the band that said you're not the best guy for this job, something's not going to work here. You know what I mean? Everyone has to be in agreement with all this kind of stuff. Whether you talk about it or not, it's irrelevant. You know what I mean? And I always find six-piece bands fucking fascinating, because how you can keep it together with six guys. Go look at the 3-piece bands and the 4-piece bands. They can't keep it together because it's so many personalities and so many things that enter into all this. How do you guys do it? Like seriously, like 6 people. I mean, am I wrong? Have you guys been in other bands? Is this the only band you guys have been in? Have you guys all been in other bands leading up to this, or is this your first band?
I've been in another band. I think, as it was previously mentioned, we ended on Oversoul. We've gone through a lot of names, but that was like a big, like thrash band I was in.
But what ended that?
A lot of conflictions with people's personalities and stuff. 4-piece band, drummer wasn't wanting to do it. And it's just, there's a lot of personality clashing on, like, what people wanted to do. Our other guitarist was, like, changing his influence every week.
Oh, yeah.
One day it's, he wants to play, like, Metallica. Next day it's, like, Slayer. Next day it's Lamb of God. Then Mastodon. And then Ginger. Just...
You couldn't... Yeah, it's like, dude, enough.
It was just not working.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, like, if anybody that's been in any kind of relationship knows how hard it is to just keep 2 people. Like 6... So there's so much compromise. See, it's got to be a lot of compromise going on in this band and a lot of trust. Those are the 2 things it's got to be.
Well, I think a big thing about, like, having the 6 of us is, like, if one of us kind of is on, like, the fence or whatever, on, like, a decision, we have more people to come together and solve whatever issue there might be, or, like, to keep everyone, like, kind of together. There's more heads in play.
And we also have the set in place. It's more or less, I mean, we get on each other's nerves. It's going to happen. There's 6 of us working together all the time. We're stuck in a small room. We get on each other's nerves, but at the same time, when we do get on each other's nerves, we make sure that everybody voices their opinions. There's no holding things back, keeping it down. If you have an issue and you need to say something, say it, and we can talk it out like adults. We don't do the whole holding grudges, and I'm just going to go sit in this corner and
silence. You don't play the silence pout game and all that shit.
Yeah, if we're getting on each other's nerves, we tell each other to shut up. and then
that's beautiful.
Get past it.
I'm so mad at you when you wouldn't lay under the workbench. But
well, and then plus, what happens in a band that's cool with the difference between a band and other things is, you can have your differences, you can have your differences, then you play the song and you're like, all right, fuck it, we're good.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I feel better now because it's so much fun to do this shit, right? I mean, isn't it like nobody? If you don't do this, you'll never understand the amount of fun that goes into this, especially when you're playing live. Oh. I mean, it's just insane. But there is a lot to be said about writing music. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and I don't think it's almost like. You almost want to tell people everyone should just write one fucking song before they die, just to do it, just to have that. It's cool that when you have something from nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you have nothing and then all of a sudden you have a whole album. They were saying that you guys are kind of more album EP driven instead of just putting out the singles and all that kind of stuff, which I find that's the coolest way to do it. But I'm old school, you know what I mean? So it's like, of course, that's what I grew up with. But as far as singing goes, so when do you start singing? How does that all happen with you? I'm curious because you're the singer. You're the clean singer. So this is like, what's your influences, beginnings? How's that all start, Ralph?
I mean, I started the way everybody else started, just unnaturally, disgustingly singing in a car, and you sound like complete ass. And that's how everybody starts. I don't care who you are. I don't care what anybody has to say. You sound like ass in the car. You think you sound great, and you start recording yourself, and you're like, man, I sound terrible. And then you just start tweaking it from there. And I was never in a band, but I've worked with a lot of bands. I've ghost written for bands and things like that, and I watched them all collapse. Or I'll write something, and I'm like, hey, I got this really good idea. You want me to ghost write for you? Here's lyrics I wanted written out like this. And it's not my band, so I have no say, but then they take those lyrics, they take the idea that you have, they form it into something different, and you're like, man, that's my creation. And
it's a Frankenstein version.
Yeah, and like it hurts me to see it written in a different way. And that's when I finally decided to start doing it for myself. And I'm like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out how to start singing better. And I'm still improving. I'm obviously not the best vocalist in the world, but I'm still improving. I'm finding my voice because everybody's got a specific sound that sounds better for their voice. And I'm still navigating the waters on that and trying to find my specific voice. And I mean, we're doing pretty well with it so far. I'm starting to get better and better. And I mean, that's just, it kind of grew from there. I was just tired of seeing my creations butchered. And then this came to be, I met up with Brendan and our old bandmate Isaac. They had messaged me and they're like, hey, we need a vocalist. Joined in with them, started writing things, and that's when we met up with these guys, and we just kind of formed this 6-piece monstrosity that we have going on right now.
So how do you improve? What's your do you have any kind of vocal training that you're doing like for yourself that you've are you just singing songs and just that's it?
Well, it's a little of both. I am just singing songs and tweaking my voice to see how it sounds better. I record myself and I put myself through that torture and start finding ways to make it sound better. And then I also have a personal friend who's a vocal coach. He's opera trained. He goes and does Broadway shows, things like that. And when he's home in Cleveland, I meet up with him and he kind of just helps me figure that out and helps me, gives me vocal training, gives me warm-up techniques, things like that. So it's actually him, Gil, by the way, it's Gilgamesh. He's a really good vocalist. He's a very strong vocalist, and his range is completely insane. It's out of this world. So like he's been a big help for helping me find my voice.
When you say find my voice, are you saying you want to be able to sing more naturally without effort type thing, or is it a certain sound that you're trying to achieve because you want to stand out amongst others? You want to have your own voice. You want to sound like you.
Well, it's what makes you comfortable and what makes you sound better. So, I mean, like you got Kellen Quinn hits these high notes. It sounds amazing. You want to hit those high notes. Nope, you can't do it. You try that, it sounds like you're killing a squirrel.
You got to stay within yourself.
So you gotta navigate those to figure out like where your range is at, things like that. What song suits your voice the best? What vocal range suits your voice the best? Because you can have a smooth voice, but then you try to hit a different note. It's shaky, sounds ugly, and then like it's just trying to figure out. And you don't hear that within yourself. You hear your voice completely differently than how everybody else hears it.
True.
So it's finding that. It's finding that. That's what I mean when I'm saying find my voice is find what is my good range. What people hear and they're like, oh man, that actually sounds really good. Like that's a good song for your voice.
I got you. So it is more of a natural thing for you. So because with natural. If it's naturally being done, it doesn't sound like it's being forced.
Right, correct.
Basically.
Now how is it guitar? How did guitar come after you started writing? See, you're the writer guy, so writer guys don't have to play guitar first. They could find out they know how to write, and then the guitar is their tool to writing. How did it work for you?
Well, I started playing I guess it started with guitar actually. Okay. Like I mean I used to do like choir and like grade school and stuff like that. Like wanted to do band, orchestra, whatever it may be. Didn't. But I picked up guitar in 8th grade, and it was after a couple of years I got in my first band. Like it was just like, it didn't really hit me until then that this is like something I wanted to like do. But writing, it just happens to be something like it just happens. Like I'll just be noodling and I'll just riff.
Is there a love for it though? Is that what's it's inside of you like?
Yeah, and there's times where I do like try to convey like, you know, my passion for it, like, or any emotion into some of my guitar playing. Just, you know, I'm still working on that. Like I'm trying to figure out, you know, conveying emotion a little bit better than just angry in your face.
So you guys are incorporating more melody.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
I want to try to incorporate a little bit more melody into our stuff.
I got you.
It's just about execution.
Right. And especially if like leading up to this point, you know, like the one thing that's funny about the Big Four is that 3 of those bands are loaded with melodies, and then there's Slayer, right? I mean, Slayer's got
Slayer,
and then Slayer's got their own form of melody. I don't know what you call it, but it's something. There's something going on there.
The form of melody is just grabbing your whammy bar and just doing that.
Yeah, right. But I mean, like, so like, you know, when it comes to that, the Big Four, that was one thing. They were one of the first ones that were coming out and really incorporating a lot of melody to this harder stuff that was, you know, basically all metal at that time. So is that what you guys are? Is that what the direction you guys are? So is it? Would I say is a direction you're going to go into?
That's
from
the direction
this point?
I would.
You're going to
like
start hearing more melodies in these songs and stuff, which basically benefits you as the cleaner vocalist. Melody definitely plays into your favor more.
Well, see, so I do a little bit of both. I scream too, and I'm not taking Andrew's spot. I compliment with the screaming. So like we do have another song that's coming up. That's going to be just me and him screaming back and forth. And that's going to be one of the heavier songs because we're not leaning towards more melodic stuff. We want a wide range. So there's a song for everybody. We don't want to be in a situation where somebody hears a song, and if you don't like that song, you're not going to like the rest of them. We all want there to be the ability that you may not like this song, but you might like this song because it's in a different direction, or you might like this song because this one's in a completely different direction. So we just kind of want to have like a widespread across the board.
Instead of being like one guy likes all your music, you'd rather have 10 guys like this
one song,
a little bit there, a little bit there.
Right.
It's like one song where, you know, I don't know, like for like Asking Alexandria, for example, the next song we're like Lamb of God, and then there's another one where we're like, oh shit, I don't know,
Day to Remember.
Might just become you know, some old boy band from like the 90s. Shit, why not? We got the people for it. You know,
we got the
we're gonna be the next NSYNC.
You just got to choreograph.
Yeah, you guys could do that. You'd be the first like death metalcore band that's up there doing choreographed steps and shit.
Let's do it.
Moshing steps. You mosh. I don't know how the fuck you coordinate all that, but fucking make it happen, man.
If we try hard enough,
you can do
it'll work.
Yeah. All right, Dunn. Lead guitar player.
How's it going?
Good, man. How's guitar? How did you become a guitar player? Besides just playing it.
I mean, everyone on my dad's side of the family, like all of my uncles, pretty much just all had guitars and were in bands growing up. So it just kind of
fell in your lap almost.
Pretty much.
No pun intended.
And then Dad gave me my first guitar, and then just been playing it ever since.
No shit.
Yeah.
So what kind of guitar do you play? Do you have just one, or do you have like one that you're like specifically like?
Got a nice little handful, but the main ones I've been playing now are my Ibanez Spider that Jacob actually just rebuilt for me.
I'm also the guitar tech of
the
band. Yeah.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, I just had to change the neck on that. We had to order a new one. The headstock was it was a fixable headstock, but it was just easier to get the new neck. And on top of that, it didn't even have the same original neck on this thing. So
you guys got the in-band technician worker guy.
He's our go-to everything, pretty much. Sound guy, technician, riff writer.
General nuisance.
So your influences guitar wise. I mean, who's the guitar guys?
I like a lot of the newer like progressive metal from like the 2000s, 2010s era, like After the Burial, Veil of Maya, where they're melodic but still kind of heavy. So like just I don't know, it sounds fast and beautiful at the same time.
Yeah. Almost orchestra type, like where you're playing like 32nd notes and 64th notes, and but it all kind of like
right, but it doesn't sound like straight up thrash or like just heavy. It actually sounds like bright and pleasant.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So names, influences. Who's your favorite guitar player? You got to have a favorite guitar player if you're a guitar player. You got to have.
Right now, Tosin Abasi from Animals as Leaders. I mean, the dude can just go all over the place and make it look so easy and effortlessly.
Doesn't he use a 9-string?
At least an 8.
I think he has a signature ESP that's like a fucking 9-string.
No shit.
I
You only use 6 though.
I do have a 7 and an 8.
Oh, really?
I don't play them that much. They're there in the event I want to use them, but pretty much stick with the 6s.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk with the guys from Four Apps and Friends.
Hi everybody, it's DJ Terry from the Homegrown Hit Show on 216 Beat Radio with your list of cool events for this week. Starting Sunday, February 5th, it's the Shotgun Bowl at Beachland Ballroom. It starts at 2 p.m. and it includes Alethea, Bessemer Saints, Assault, and much, much more. So check it out. Then on Wednesday, February 8th, it's Brian Allen Hager, and he's at the winery at Wolf Creek. And then on Saturday, February 11th, it's Lillier, and they're at the Zephyr Pub in Kent. So come check them out. And keep rocking, keep supporting local music, and check out my show on 216 Beat on Monday nights when you can. DJ Terry is out.
And we are back, everybody, with Four Apps and Friends, and we got all 6 guys in here together at one time. This is the first time on our show we've ever had that many guys.
It's a lot of guys.
Ever in one time. But I just wanted to go over couple quick things. We want to promote a couple things with you guys. You guys got some stuff coming out. The EP's coming out.
Yeah, we got.
You're working on it right now, though, right? I mean, you're in the process of putting it together.
Yeah, we got most of it written out. Getting ready to start tracking it all and actually fine pressing everything. So that's something that we're so hyped to announce. Right now, you guys have been listening for the same stuff for almost a year, and it's about time to change it.
Yeah. Now, when you guys put out new stuff, are you guys into putting out like the hard copies also? Did you guys?
Oh yeah.
You do the CDs and everything like that, so you can get all that. Now, when you guys have CDs. Do you they come to the shows to buy the CDs? Do you guys put them up on Amazon? Any of that kind of stuff? How do you guys sell your stuff?
Actually, physical CDs, they are at shows, yes, but you can purchase it through, I'm pretty sure, like Apple Music and stuff. If you would like to, you can purchase it through there.
Digital copy like that?
Yeah.
Digital stuff. So you guys do sell it. Do you guys, Amazon? You guys on Amazon too?
Yes, where you should be on all
so you're
major
on all the
platforms.
On Amazon Music, though, I do have it. It is like a little bugged out. It has us grouped with another band called Four Apps and Friends.
So I was going to actually, you know what? I almost forgot to mention this because in my looking you guys up, I found that band.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it depends on when you search or how you search, but that band will come up first sometimes, and you guys will come up first sometimes. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that? That gets a little confusing, right? I mean, is it just one of them things like it is what it is, or...
We've tried resolving it, more or less through the individual streaming services, like, hey, separate us from this.
Has it helped you at all, you think?
Mild success rate.
I'm sure it has, in small ways. But
they're current too, right?
Yeah, they've been around for a while too. But yeah, they've been active for a long time. Have you ever listened to them?
So it's nothing like you guys. You know what I did? I actually started researching them.
Yeah.
So I was like, and then all of a sudden I seen that they had like 6 albums out or something like that, and I'm like, wow, these fucking guys are busy. And then I started listening to music. I'm like, well, that definitely ain't them. Unless they got that one song that's just way off from the rest of them. But yeah, I was wondering about that though. That happens, right?
Yeah.
It's one of them things, especially nowadays. How could you not start doubling up on band names?
Right.
There's been
billions of them.
Right after so long, it would eventually just start piling on top of each other, right?
So wait, we could totally just name ourselves like Metallica.
Yeah,
right. Get the notoriety of that. Like we could totally get away with it. Be like, dude, we're running out of band names. We gotta double up. Sorry, guys.
We're Metallica. That's all. There's two of us.
I'm sure there's a law somewhere that says we can't do that.
Metallica with 3 L's.
There you go. Now you're on to something.
Or 2 T's, however you want to do it.
Have you thought about doing that with Four Absent Friends? It's like going to FOUR or something just to separate yourselves?
People
but
think that all the time.
That is a mistake often made. Like FOUR? Like,
wait,
no.
there's 6 of you. How's there 4?
The name kind of is a play on words. I mean, it is what it is. It's like you could look at it both ways from sound. Of the Four Absent Friends could be the number, but when you read it, it's something that's for you.
Yeah.
So it's for everybody.
Yes.
All right, guys. So real quick before we part ways, what can we expect from you guys? Like not just EP, but like live stuff. Next year, you guys looking to bolster up the live shows even more than this year? You're gonna try to get out there and like what's the plan? Is that what is live where it's at still? I mean, is that the main thing?
Yeah. That's our main goal. Yes, live.
Out of state.
Yes, next year we plan on trying to hit a couple of states other than Ohio. Maybe show some love everywhere else.
Do you guys ever try to write a song that's just for the crowd purpose, or write songs that's just for like I know this is gonna just make that fucking crowd do this?
Yes.
Do you guys do that?
We have that one song, the single In Tongues. That's the last thing we put out.
Yeah, okay.
It's got that little section at the end there, and it's got this big O part in it. Like everybody, we get the crowd in. They get the lighters, their phones out. I try to think about a lot of live aspect stuff when we write too.
Sweet. I was going to ask that. Yeah. So you're thinking that way.
Yeah.
You're like, well, how will this come off live?
The show. We want the best show possible.
Our sound is always live.
Like you go to shows to see the music, like to hear it, but you also go to shows to see the performance, the theatrics, and be a part.
And that's just as important to you as the songs themselves.
Of course.
Sweet. All right, guys. That's it.
All right.
Thanks for coming down.
Thank you
for having us.
This was sweet, man. You guys all made it too, man. Sometimes it's hard to get one person down here. I got 6.
Yeah.
You guys are cool, man. Keep an eye out for these guys. EP will be coming out 2023. They're going to be playing all over the place. You guys do tend to play with other bands too. So you guys put like 4 bands on a bill and go out and kill it, man.
Yep.
All right. That's it from us. We'll see you guys next week.
That'll be fine.